What is up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We, of course, are the Alternates. I am your host, Brian Cullen, and with me today, as always, the great, the handsome, the freshly cut Clayton Stevens.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
How'd it feel getting cut?
Really good. It's hot as hell here.
yeah, just in time.
Yeah, just in time.
I think about buzzing my head every summer.
You're pretty close to it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
This is as close as my partner will let me get.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, yeah, take that as you will. We have a great show lined up today. Before we get into it, I want to take a quick second, ask you all to subscribe to the show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Go ahead, drop a comment, like the video. If you're listening to the show, leave us a rating and review, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. I hate to be a slave to Apple, but that is how this business works. That's showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz.
That
That's
is
right.
showbiz.
Yeah.
And most importantly, share the show with friends and family. It helps us out and it helps people just like you find us. We are breaking the routine a little bit today, getting away from our normal kind of show because
I'm excited for it.
We have a very special guest that has joined us today.
Yes.
They will be here shortly. This is our first guest with the two of us in the studio together.
Yeah, real deal guest.
Yeah, this is an actual guest on the show rather than a special co-host.
Exactly.
Very excited. We've got Jake Barnes, an incredible designer. He has made t-shirts for your favorite players, your favorite teams. He's doing really cool work. So we wanted to chat with him, pick his brain about what he's been doing, how he got started and all that. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get into this conversation with Jake. So we are here joined for the first time with two of us in the studio by a very special guest, our friend, Jake Barnes, designer, all-around badass.
Yeah.
Sky.
Anonymous.
Dude. Yeah.
Anonymous dude.
Anonymous guy.
Legend.
You're... The mask, I know you said is for anonymity, but I fully understand you wanting to be cautious around two dirty, diseased punks like us.
Not only that, like everybody that knows, like, oh, well, if you follow on Twitter, I got a baby at home, and we just went through COVID like a month ago.
You're all like yesterday.
Like all of, bro, like everybody has COVID right now, and so like us getting it was like, I don't know. Yeah, pretty bad. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We announced in the beginning we're kind of breaking our routine here a little bit. Right. We're not going to be getting into all the segments, and we wanted you to join us because we are both fans of yours and also friends.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
A lot of the designs that you've done have been incredible.
Thank you, man.
You really kind of this last year. It seems like really blew up in the NBA world with t-shirt designs and all that. But we want to kind of start from the beginning.
Let's do it.
Let's get the origin tale.
It's the summertime. Ball's kind of on pause right now.
For sure.
So I feel like it's a good time to
let's
talk to some
it.
people. And like a lot of people I think are going to be really interested to hear about your story. So like you said, let's start at the very beginning.
I'm hyped. Let's do it.
Where did you grow up?
So I'm from Burbank. Originally, so I'm really local.
Valley boys.
You know, I'm from Burbank too. So
yeah, Valley. Like I went to John Burroughs.
Right, I went to Burbank, so rival high schools.
Okay, so you know what I'm saying, and I pretty much stayed in the Valley pretty much till I was like 18.
Yeah.
Did a lot of traveling after that. New York City, stayed there for like a little while, and I mean that's pretty much where I.
Burbank's an interesting place to grow up, right? Like it's for people who don't know, it's 10 minutes from Hollywood.
Yeah.
But it's sort of its own suburban weird, that's got this old guard there, people who've been there a long time, people who parents, worked for Lockheed Martin and stuff like that.
My dad was one of them. So
right.
Yeah,
so there you go. Exactly. That's how a lot of people came there, or people in the entertainment business, stuff like that. So you have that influence, I think, of things like Hollywood, places like Melrose, stuff like that, where there's fashion and all that stuff. Was that part of your growing up there too?
So, like when it came to just the clothes stuff, I used to like visit this store called Backside.
Yeah.
Record store. And
I grew up going there as well.
They were like a big like clothes distributor, but at the same time, like just big in music. And me being one of those kids like around the graffiti influence, you know what I'm saying? It just made sense. So I was always down there just like, picking shit up.
Yeah.
Can I curse? I can curse.
Yeah.
I can,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
please.
picking shit up. So it's like, yeah, I was always around picking shit up and like seeing what I liked. I really didn't get an interest into making clothes around till maybe 15.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of started like a skate project. So like I had like a bunch of friends that skated, and we like formed this little skate team type thing. And so I was
What
like,
was it called?
dude.
No, you gotta drop it. Hey, if this makes you feel better, my
Yeah.
friends had a skate team
Yeah.
called the Poop Sobers.
Okay, I
and
mean,
it was
cool.
a play on the Piss Drunks.
Yeah, so it was called Project.
Okay.
Okay, it was
With a
called
K?
Come on, that's not
Project
bad.
with a K.
Yep.
Yeah, Project with a K, and it was like super. I mean, it was a bunch of homies from down here, like South Central, and then like they would like bus over, and we would all hang out in the valley because we felt that like all the good skaters were in the at the time.
Yeah.
You know, now it's kind of switched. But like from there, I just kind of started with like a logo and a white T-shirt, and you know, heat pressing the T-shirt on or whatever, or heat pressing the graphic on the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, that was like the original start. From there, I was always a kid that was like on Melrose, on Fairfax, in line at Supreme, in line for whatever, you know, stupid stuff there was out.
drop.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Forget it. Shoes at the time, like 2008, 7, 9, 10. Bro, you couldn't catch me. You could just catch me in line. I mean, like just waiting for shoes.
Yeah.
And I mean, my mom wouldn't buy them, so I just had to get money however I could.
I feel that.
yeah.
I mean, you can catch me in line at the Crocs store pretty
I mean,
often.
right now, it's like, bro, Crocs and like Birkenstocks.
Dude, Crocs, stocks, and docks. It's the only three things I put on my feet.
That's like, yeah, Reeboks and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
And did you have any sibling influence with clothes and stuff like that?
So check this out. You know, well, this is what people don't know. My brother plays for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. He plays
No kidding.
He plays drums for them.
Wow.
So
Okay, we're really getting in now. Let's
yeah,
go.
so
The alt just turned up in the room.
yeah, sort of like growing up, right? Like, of course, I was listening to a lot of rap music. That was like, it was 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
50 Cent. But like at the same time, you know, he had his interest and he was at home with us all the time. So like his music was always blasting. While I was playing video games, you know, you had to plug in the AV cables.
Yeah.
He would get his music going while my games were on because we were sharing rooms.
Yeah.
So like a lot of Sum 41, Finch, Thrice,
Yeah, the
Drive-Thru
post-hardcore
Records,
kind of the time.
Halifax,
Yeah. Right.
RX Bandits, Phoenix TX, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Basically Drive-Thru Records whole lineup.
Yeah.
That's what I was listening to pretty much. growing up.
Atticus.
Yeah, Atticus. Atticus. Yeah. So he didn't really give me like an influence as far as clothing, but like just the music thing. It
And
like
the culture
it's-
of that.
The culture, it stuck. So then I started going to shows with him. He was like in little bands coming up out of Valencia, Newhall, Pale New Dawn, and In Memory, and a bunch of little small like little things. And we were going to do like he was doing shows at the Chain Reaction.
Yep.
And so I was
Rest in
always,
peace.
yeah. I was always out there, House of Blues, Saddle Ranch. So that's where it kind of like, you know, it was like a counterculture type thing because a lot of my friends were just like, it's like 50 Cent and like Jay-Z, right? But at the same time, I had like this, I don't know, like other side of me that was like, you know, kind of took influence from here.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of, I don't know, I still fall in the middle. You know?
Well, that's interesting because you talk about having like a skate crew growing up with like skater friends.
Right.
And in my experience, that was like where the like, you know, subculture, counterculture crossover like really happens is in skate culture because, you know, it even started in the 90s when guys like Kareem Campbell got on the scene and skate videos went from being, you know, Descendants and Minor Threat and all that. And that was still there.
Right.
But then you would get Del the Funky Homo Sapien on a skate section and like the hip hop like punk world really started to kind of come together and I feel like skate culture was like a big part of that. Were you not experiencing that crossover in like the skate world?
It was super tough. Like, you know, coming up, it's weird, right? Because I mean, I don't want to play the race thing, but you go to like the Valley and it's like everybody's listening to like indie and like hardcore, like post-hardcore. But you go to like South Central and everybody's listening to like rap.
Yeah.
That skates. It's like two different skate worlds.
Yeah.
You know, I really didn't get it. I mean, I was kind of like, I mean, I guess I listened to rap because all my friends listened to rap and I had like this like shelled side of me that was like listening to like, I don't know, just AFI. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of, now, I mean, I'm more open to just like saying whatever I like, right? Of course, as you get older. But when I was a kid, I really kept it like really hush. Yeah, but I mean, it was always around. Like,
I mean, I feel like that's like the alt story right there, right? Like I've talked about, for me, like the dichotomy that I kept to myself was being a basketball fan, but being like an uber punk dude. And I was like, these two worlds aren't allowed to mix. And so I'm going to keep my basketball thing close to the chest and, you know, pretend like I don't like that stuff. But like those lines are different for everybody, but they exist. Nobody's a binary, you know, interest person.
Absolutely.
And so, so I feel like most people have a side that they kind of, you know, you got group A friends, group B friends, and like you kind of keep those two things compartmentalized until you get a little bit older, a little more comfortable in your skin, and you kind of step into that and you're like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I enjoy.
Right.
Where did like hoop enter the picture here?
Hoop has been around forever. Like since I have a preschool video, like I'm graduating from preschool, going to kindergarten, and in the video it's like, so Jake, right? Jacob, when he grows up, wants to be Shaquille O'Neal. Like that was like like my guide.
Oh, so when you were skating, you were listening to a lot of like Fushnik and Shaq Fu kind of stuff.
Like, you know, Shaq was like legit. That was like my first entry into basketball. Shaq. Early Lakers, like 96, 97.
Okay. Yep. I was going to ask if it was Orlando Shaq.
No.
That's what made me a Shaq. I've got an Orlando Magic Shaq Attack Rookie of the Year right here.
Fire.
Like the pinstripe jersey too.
Oh man, classic. I own one. Like, you know, gotta have those.
But right, but the early Shaq, the very early Kobe, obviously, which was like I remember, not to cut you off anyway, but I remember at that time when Kobe came around. It was like you were either team Kobe or you were team not Kobe.
Yeah.
You know,
you were team Eddie.
Well, yeah, honestly, but it was like, you know, the first thing I remember of him, kids saying was air ball, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, you either were Kobe or you're not Kobe. But for me, I was the same thing. Shaq was my guy on the Lakers. I love Derek Fisher. I love Nick Van Exel. I love all those guys that came from the slightly before Kobe era. But then Shaq comes in and that becomes something for you that you latch on to. Just
Shaq, big, like.
What about him? What about
just
Shaq?
Larger than life, bro.
The dominance.
A dominance. Like, I think it's like really underplayed, like his just all around impact on the game when he played.
Yeah.
You know, like the dude was just like a walking, like a brick.
Yeah.
Like you could not move him and he was getting you out of the way. Yeah. Shaq was like the first like enter point. After that was kind of like T-Mac.
Yes.
I had this kid in middle school called Jared, I think, or Jordan, something like that. And he always came in with a blue T-Mac jersey. And he was like T-Mac ones, like Adidas T-Mac ones, T-Mac jersey.
Fire
T-Mac,
shoe.
like he was, you know, he looked like Tracy McGrady. And I remember telling my mom, like, Mom, we're getting to like 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, like I started loving LeBron. I saw him all over TV. LeBron was the man. And I'm like, I need a LeBron jersey. My mom actually went to Mervyn's at the time, right? And she got me one of those replica LeBron Cleveland jerseys, the away one.
Yeah.
After that, I never looked back. It was like LeBron is like my everything. I'm like LeBron stan. Like I'm going all the way with LeBron. Now, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's where it kind of like set in.
For sure.
Were you more just a fan or did you play?
Check this out. I didn't play hoop until like 20. Shout out my man Vaughn. I was always like football in high school, and then after that, it was like, well, there's nothing I really, you know, I like to watch hoop, but I never played.
Yeah.
I coached some Burbank Park and Rec. I tried to do an assistant for a travel ball team. It's cool, but like I don't know, you know, it's like really regulated and stuff. That's like another thing I have problems with is just rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I just one day he was just like, come hoop with me because he hoops a lot. And I sucked. I was really bad. Now it's like I play in a rec league. You know, I love to hoop. Play like Kevin Love, Channing Frye. It's pretty nasty, but it's cool.
Pick and pop.
Pick and pop.
Yeah. So my question, because the way I feel like we all kind of know each other is through our passion with the Clippers. The three of us are Clippers fans, and you have done a lot of stuff with and for the Clippers that we'll get into in just a little bit. But I'm curious. Shaq was your entry point.
Yes.
He was on the Lakers.
Yes.
were you a Lakers fan that became a Clippers fan, or when did the Clippers kind of enter the picture?
So
for
I was
you?
kind of a Lakers fan, but because of Shaq.
Yeah,
Wasn't really a big Kobe guy, like really ever. When Shaq got shipped, I just really latched on to LeBron, and like it was like, oh, Cleveland, like, oh yeah, we're rocking Cleveland all the way. He went to the finals, and I was still rocking. And then during this time, I'm always watching Baron Davis. Baron Davis was always like my favorite point guard. Golden State, New Orleans, whatever, right? Or Charlotte.
Yeah. That was the sickest version of Baron Davis.
Yeah.
People
100%.
talk about Warriors Baron Davis all the time because he had the like baseline layup that everybody remembers and all of that. But Hornets Baron Davis,
explosive,
unbelievable.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah.
He was unstoppable.
Unbelievable.
Insane. So I was always like, when Shaq left, I was always rooting for the Lakers to lose. It was like, bro, it was bad. I mean, when Kobe dropped that 3-1 lead, I was like super hyped because I was just not a Kobe guy. We get into like 2008, the Clippers acquire Baron Davis. I'm like, oh, he's home, he's here. I get to go watch him. That's where it kind of happened.
So you not only entered the like heartbreak fandom
of
being
sure.
a Clippers fan.
Yeah, for sure.
But like doubled down on the heartbreak of the Baron Davis experience.
It was
with
fire.
the Clippers.
Super fire. I always tell everybody like it was the best and the worst time. I could go to any game. Games were practically free.
Yeah.
My parents got tickets from churches and like they would like rent out boxes and like put us in the lower bowl for free.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go. And at that time, I started falling in love with the team. It was like Baron Davis and Al Thornton and like Craig Smith, Chris Kaman, and it was fun. I mean, the game experience now is like 100 times better, but just the way it was like, I don't know, you could just go and it was like innocent, to the fans' eyes. I don't know about like the stuff behind the scenes, obviously what happened, but to the fans' eyes, it was like super innocent.
Yeah, and I think Baron Davis, for a lot of people, myself included, I latched onto the team really like you said, when I was a kid, I liked the Lakers because they were the team that I saw on TV the most.
Right.
And then I really latched onto the Clippers from the Knuckleheads era.
Fire.
Really, once I started seeing them, that really clicked on. I used to go to Clippers games at the sports arena when I was really young because that's what we could afford to go see. So I always had a little soft spot for them. But then once the Knuckleheads era came, and then especially once Baron Davis came, I'm with you, it really upped my fandom because it was like local guy.
Yeah.
Like people I knew had played around him and stuff like that. And I think a lot of fans latched onto that team. And it's funny looking back on it. Every time I look back on those teams, like you look back on the, let's say, 2000 to 2004 Clippers, every year was a slightly new team.
Right.
But you would fall in love with that team because it was like this band of misfits, you know what I mean? And I think that there was something about that people latched onto and it made them fans for life, because it had this special different bond. Like we're not the regular NBA team that has, these guys that we can latch onto forever. We have one or two guys that the owner's willing to pay. The rest of them, they come in and out. But it gave those players a chip on their shoulder.
Right.
It gave the fans a reason to root for them, especially. And it was a special time to be a Clippers fan, I think, honestly. Like, it sucked in many ways, but that sort of bonded us all forever.
It really did suck. But at the same time, I'm with you. Like, the Baron Davis thing really, like, helped. And especially before that, they went to the playoffs.
Yes.
So, like, they did the whole, like, second round thing.
Sam Cassell, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Elton Brandt.
Right. And he was supposed to stay. And, you know how that happened. But I think the Baron thing really, like, just helped. It's almost similar to what they have now. They got two homegrown guys, kind of. Yeah. Like, they're from here, rooted here, and they come home. And it really just helps. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you. And, like, for me, I obviously wasn't making this decision at a super young age. Yeah. But as I thought about it, as I got older, it made more sense. And this is not an indictment on Lakers fans. I want to say that right now. Like, I fully get growing up in LA and falling in love with the Lakers. Like, it
is what it is.
Yeah, that's that is the LA team.
Yeah,
like, I get that.
Yankees fan. Of course.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people with the Clippers, and as someone, I'm sure you guys can relate to this, growing up in LA, there's a lot of when you get outside of LA, people fucking hate Los Angeles. They're like, ugh, LA, like, you know, whatever. And I've always kind of grown up with this, that LA is two different cities. There's, you can go to parts of LA that, like, you go to like the West Side or something like that, where it's super nice homes. You go to the hills, like, and you see the nice cars and all of that. You go down fucking Melrose or Sunset now, you know, back in the day, it wasn't the case, but you go down there now, and there's this, it's what the people outside of LA picture. Right. And then you get to the places like you were talking about, your friends from South Central. It's different, you get out into the valley a little bit more, you know, especially like East Valley. And it's just people living their lives, communities, people just trying to like make it through. They're normal, everyday, hardworking people that don't fit the mold of that image of LA that is sold to the rest of the world. And for me, like that's what really, when I started to kind of realize that's what binded me to the Clippers, because I was like, oh, it's not the stars sitting courtside. It's not the big show, you know, like it's not Showtime. It's fucking no time, right? Like that's what it is. And so like that really, I found a place in that. Like, and obviously, you know, I'm fooling myself somewhat here because there was a shithead billionaire that owned the team. Guys were still getting paid, you know, decent amounts of money. There was still the business, you know, aspect of it. But there was just something culturally that connected me, because I didn't grow up in like the wealthy homes and all of that. And so like I was like, oh yeah, this is, especially, you know, the sports arena, like it wasn't, you're not going to downtown. That place was a piece of shit. Yeah, it fucking sucked.
I wish I got to experience that, you know, like I never really got to see the sports arena. I wish I was able to.
Yeah. This is a random aside, but like a week ago I was in a bookstore and I saw a book that was like Los Angeles history and now. And it was pictures of different parts of LA, you know, how they were in like the early 1900s, 1920s, and then pictures of what they look like now. And one of them was the USC Coliseum. It was like the LA Coliseum, you know, and it was the original picture and then the now picture. And I was looking at the now picture and I was like, that's the fucking sports arena. Like this is not now. Like even this picture is old. Like there's a like a soccer stadium there now. But it was just a different vibe. But let's move forward a little bit. Let's fast forward on this. And when did you start to do like designs involving hoop? And then what was the like influence in the designs that you're doing for that?
So as far as basketball designing and just like sportswear, it really just started last year.
Wow.
Last year. So before that, I had a couple skate brands I owned. Always Angry was one of them. Like I was super big. We were really big in like the SoundCloud scene for like rap music. And I would kind of just sat there one day and I took a break. The pandemic like killed my brand. Like, you know, I could not get any traction off of it. And this is 2020. So this is super recent. We get into like maybe December. I drop something on Always Angry, doesn't hit. And then that whole period from like January to April, I'm just sitting there like working. I worked a warehouse job. I was a shoe authenticator for Stadium Goods. And I remember just sitting there like at work and just thinking like, what can I do to like get back?
What's the next
get
step?
back in?
Yeah.
Like I'm almost 30. Like what can I do to like get back in this game? And there's this brand called Warren Lotus. He does like NBA designs. I mean, he kind of really jump-started the whole like NBA shirt thing. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but in his style, right? And I remember dropping a comment and I was like, yo, how come you don't do any Clippers gear? No answer, of course, but like he does like Celtics, Lakers, Warriors, Mavericks, anybody you could think of. So I literally sat at home and I was like, well, let's do it. You know, let's do it. And probably the best decision I ever made, right? but
was the first design the whole team?
The first design was the whole team. So I was like, okay, the team is set. It's almost playoff time. It's like April, May, something like that. Let me make these tees. And I was involved on Clippers Twitter a little bit. Not too hard, just kind of like a passive fan. And let me see what I can do, right? That was kind of like how it started. Let me see what I can do. I hit up Locked On at the time. Now what? Clippers, Clip and Dip?
Clip and Dip.
Yep.
And I hit them up and I was like, yo, I got these tees for you guys if you guys want them. Kind of just floating, you know, like seeding, how it always starts. It always starts like that. And they took them. They loved it. They posted on Twitter. I mean, and from there, I think I found Clayton.
Yeah. Yeah, we started DMing.
From there, I found Clayton. And Clayton actually one of the first guys to get that shirt. I was like hustling them at the back of my car. I had like 5, 6 of them.
Yeah, we met in Burbank.
And at a Starbucks. Yeah, Alameda or something like that.
Yeah, shouts to Starbucks.
Yeah. And it was cool. I mean, like, it gained a little traction. It wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
Until Terrence got it. And that's when it kind of like,
So how did that happen? Terrence Mann wore the shirt pre-game.
Yeah.
And how like, what was that? Like, how did that end up happening?
Before I sent it to Terrence, it actually took a little bit. Like, it took maybe like 2 weeks. I sent it to him. I got no answer from nothing. I got in contact with someone on his team. And obviously before that, I went through like the whole DMing phase of DMing every player, hoping they would see. Jay Scrub actually opened it and never answered me. So from there, like, I don't know. I just waited, woke up, and he was wearing the T-shirt in the tunnel. Literally, that's
so you got no word. You
word.
didn't find out until the picture came out of him wearing it.
I had no idea. So I was just like at home. I woke up. It was probably like 11 a.m. or something like that. I think they played a 12 p.m. game on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's game 7 against the Mavs. And I mean, my girl's next to me and like, she's like on her phone scrolling and she tells me like, oh my God, look. And I'm like, what? You're scaring me telling me like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
And she shows me the pic and I'm like, yo, Terrence is wearing the T-shirt. And I immediately go into the comments, right? And I'm like, or the replies and I'm like, yo, I designed it. And people were loving it, obviously. Like, they were like, where can I get it? Da-da-da.
Yeah.
I did not have a website at that time. I actually was just like, oh, I designed it. That's it.
Yeah.
I let it go. He had a great game.
Yeah.
I was happy. Like,
iconic game for Terrence.
I was super happy. Like, it just kind of like, I felt, I don't know, because it got on League Fits and it got on it like blew up, right?
Yeah.
And it felt good to know that like, okay, like this shirt at the time was like ingrained to that time. So it's like, well, that shirt is something for their game 7. And that's how I kind of played it. I was like, well, it doesn't really mean anything because it's kind of like I got the placement, but I've got placements with artists and stuff in the past. Like, it's not really. But when I saw it get traction and people, commenting, where can I get it? And I was like, okay, like there's something here. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna hold on to it.
All right, and I'm just going to build off of what he was talking about here, and I want to go to the influence, because we talked about music and rap and post-hardcore and pop-punk and all that stuff, and I want to know, what were your influences, let's say, like, album art, things like that, like, because I can see stuff like, even like you were talking about 50 Cent, or like No Limit, that type of stuff, or even I can see the influence of the sort of cut and paste almost style of like a Thrice or something like that. Like I can see all of that in. So was all that stuff, do you feel like that subconsciously affects your designs and that's stuff that you're pulling from? Or is there something that you really feel like you're pulling from specifically?
Dude, absolutely, man. Like, to say that No Limit or Rockefeller or 50 Cent didn't play a part in this, like, yeah, they for sure did. Like Fat Farm and Sean John and all that kind of stuff. Especially like the big bling style that you see. That's obviously like No Limit. Yeah. Obviously Rockefeller. Swisha House, Houston, Texas.
Yep.
Paul Wall, like Slim Thug, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there is a little influence of like that post-hardcore. I try to keep it like quotation marks, like edgy, And the copy paste style, like you said, the grains to the graphics. I mean, I just try to like, I don't know. I just mesh them both together. But as far as the rap influence, it's obviously there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And I think like in today's world, with younger people and in today's NBA even specifically,
right,
these guys, they're wearing skinny jeans.
Right.
They have a camo hat on,
yeah.
like the mixing those things together, Kevin Durant wearing a Morrissey shirt, like those things, like they all are part of fashion and all that stuff now. So it makes sense. I think there's a demand and a desire for these things that like people like us, like, yeah, we listen to hardcore and punk, but we also listen to rap and we also like hoops and all that stuff. And like, I think the younger generation, they're kind of into that.
Dude, I just want to tell people like, it's okay. Like, you can do that.
Yep.
Like, it's not like you can't. I mean, ball players now are wearing like chrome hearts and stuff like that. Like, it's not it's not even near what it was. Like no one has baggy jeans anymore, and like, you know, like crazy 4XL t-shirts. There's no look to rapper. There's no look to punk, or there's no look to anything. Yeah, it's just whatever you want.
And I think that the newer generations, they don't have the, you know, that kind of embarrassment of dichotomy that we had growing up, because I think our generation dealt with like, you know, it would almost be hard to make like an 80s or 90s like high school movie now, where it's like, oh, the jocks hang out over there, and that's where the goths are, and you know, like I'm sure, you know, obviously there are cliques. That's just kind of teenage nature. But in terms of like breaking it out culturally like that, I feel like might not exist as much for newer generations, because we grew up as the internet kind of became what it is now, but it wasn't like we had the very early stages of it. Whereas kids are growing up now with the, you know, what it is, this completely integrated thing, and everything's everywhere. And so it makes sense that there's a blending of every culture and influence hitting everything. And and that there's this, I love Toby Keith, and I love 21 Savage. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just what it is now.
Yeah.
Like nowadays I'm 30 and I'm over here listening to Juice WRLD, you know, like that's what my ear kind of goes to now. And it's just,
I mean, that almost makes too much sense with like the pop punk emo influence and the rap influence. Like Juice WRLD is the perfect middle ground.
Literally combines it. Little Lotus, shout out him, Lil Cappy. Like I just have a ton of artists that I just kind of go through. But yeah, I mean, it ties in together. Like, you know, I don't know where or why things were like so separate at the time.
Yeah.
But now I'm so happy that it's like, you know, just combined.
I totally agree. I think it's like what Brian's kind of saying. It's just the world is so integrated and you can see this stuff, you know, like I think when we were younger, you kind of had to find something and then go seek it out.
Right.
And then you were into that until you found something else. And then as you get older, of course, you find more and more stuff you like and whatever. But now kids, like when you're 15, you can really dive into all kinds of stuff and really find great stuff. You know, like that information is so much easier to access now. And sort of on that type of thing too, I want to ask two things.
Yeah.
One, who are players that back in the day, forget even the playing style. I want to know players you liked their style and just maybe just the sort of vibe that they exuded.
Yeah.
And then players now that you also feel that way about.
Cool. This is a great question. Obviously, I'm gonna go with everybody's like answer, Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
That's like everybody's answer, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Everybody loved Allen Iverson. I loved Allen Iverson so much.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
he's the Jordan of basketball culture.
Absolutely.
Like Jordan changed the game in a lot of ways, and there are all these guys that changed the game on the court. AI changed the culture of basketball forever.
T-Mac.
Yes.
T-Mac had like this look. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was almost like movie, like Training Day look. I don't know how to explain it, but dude was
I know
fresh.
what you mean. I think it was because he had the unique body style that we hadn't seen at the time of the slimmer, tall dude.
Yeah.
And he just looked so confident in the way he moved. And we'd never seen someone, I feel like people really underrate, we had never seen someone like T-Mac at the time who moved the way he moved and had the like guard swag,
right?
But was gigantic and tall and all of that. And he kind of represented the era perfectly with the baggy clothes and the earrings.
Steve Francis.
Steve Francis is a great call, dude.
Stefan Marbury.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
Literally like Jason Williams, Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby was like gigantic. Like I would say he always kind of stands in the back of my mind.
Those Kings teams really stood out for some reason. I think it was just the vibe they exuded.
Yeah, shout out the Kings, man. They need to get back in the playoffs.
For real, because that shit was electric.
Yeah, it was.
You know, like that Lakers versus Kings era was... It was incredible.
The best.
It was incredible. And they were the alt team to the Lakers. Like, it's like if you were anti-Lakers, you were just rooting for the Kings. And the style of play they had was so not fundamental that it made them like edgy or something. You know, Jason Williams especially.
Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Chauncey Billups, that whole Pistons, like Rashid, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Like I really just grew up like pretty much whoever.
Jermaine O'Neal was the one.
Jermaine O'Neal.
I love Jermaine
that
O'Neal.
Pacers jersey with the pinstripes. Pretty much anybody on NBA Ballers or anybody on NBA Street, I'm co-signing it. So it's kind of like that, right? Like, yeah. It was just a time. Like the time was hot. I don't know. I mean, it really sets the influence.
Yeah.
Even I always go back 2009. I think Derrick Rose and the Celtics, that first round series. That's like stuff it just can't happen today.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same. And that time will always live. Like, always. Yeah.
Now, who are those guys for you now in the league?
Honestly, I don't have too many, keeping it real. Because a lot of it now is copy and paste.
Yeah.
And like guys are just trying to one up each other on like whoever has the freshest or most expensive thing.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, you know? But if there was any people out there, I do like Kelly Oubre a little bit. Little bit. I mean, the dude he tries different, right? Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
He just goes for something different. Shout out Jordan. I met him a couple of times.
No, I really like his style too.
Yeah. Like some days it's like Playboy Cardi, and then the next day it's like just slacks and a t-shirt. I don't know. Like it's different. But there's nothing.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah. SGA. Shout out SGA. He actually wore some of my Always Angry brand like a while back. That was pretty cool. I got a pic with him.
That's sick.
He used to work at Flight Club, so he used to come in the store.
Yeah.
And whatever, like shop. And I would be like, oh my God, you know.
I got a deep cut for you. He's not in the league anymore, but more recent era than what we were talking about. CDR. Chris Douglas Roberts. Because he had the skater style that he was bringing in. His style is like one of my favorite that I've seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah. You know, nowadays it's just really, I just really feel like that. Like everybody's kind of copy paste. No one really stands out really like, you know, of course, like the SGAs, like you said, but nothing like that. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like on some new stuff.
Yeah.
I do like the later version now of Durant style wise, where he's gone to like a more like jeans and t-shirt sort of simple, but like super thin style that I think like, again, like his body style, he just looks unique and cool with, you know, with a very simple style compared to, you know, like an SGA, like he's decked out in Louis or all this shit.
Shout out KD. Like I got a friend, Tyler, he designs a couple things for KD. So that's pretty cool.
He has more of I think a simple taste that I appreciate compared to a lot of these guys. I do kind of like
Kyrie's now that you guys mention it. He has his own brand that he like reps a lot, but Kyrie has like this really like just like free flowing clothes type thing that is going on. Yeah.
The next step I'm waiting for to enter the NBA, you know, fashion kind of style realm is who's going to be the first to walk into a game in completely androgynous wear. That's the one I'm waiting for because like it's already hit runways and the fashion world is like fully embraced it.
Rap is full of it.
Yeah. And rap has, you know, there was the Young Thug album cover. Like there's all these things where the androgyny has kind of entered it, but I haven't seen it enter the NBA fashion world yet. And I'm waiting.
I'm sure
who's going to be, I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point, but who's going to be the first one to take that step?
No, it's for sure.
Super curious, but back to like your designs and all of that. So Terrence wears the shirt.
Right.
And what happens next? Because then the next thing I see is Paul George is wearing your shirt. And then it felt like after that happened, it blew up.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody like that was pressing me after the first shirt to like follow it up. There was like a little bit of demand. And I was building the demand obviously on Twitter, like, oh yeah, like don't worry, it's coming, blah, blah, blah. So during that time where it's like the Western Conference Finals and, you know, second round, I drop a website and with that regular bootleg shirt. And I think it does like 100 units. Like, you know, I was blessed. At the time, I was like, oh my God, I've never sold 100 units on anything before, ever. I mean, seriously, right? Yeah. And I closed the site. I was like, well, I'm kind of getting behind on orders because I have a 9 to 5. I'm working 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. or whatever. So I'm cooked after work. I can't ship. I'm tired. And PG, his uncle hits me. And I mean, sorry, his cousin hits me and he was like, yo, I need that Terrence shirt. Say less, you know? You know, I didn't even know it was his, like, he was like relative or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just knew that it was like someone
in his circle
because I went on the IG. He hit me DM like super, you know, casual. and he had pictures with PG, and I was like, yo, who is this guy? I literally sent it to him, let it marinate for a little, and I'm telling my my girl at the time, still my girl, I'm telling her, yo, like, I want to send PG this next shirt. Like, how do I make this happen? She says, just ask him. And I'm like, well, I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take type shit.
Yeah.
I hit him up and I was like, yo, bro, like, I don't know if it's too much, but can I get PG this shirt? He doesn't answer me for like 5 days. And I'm just like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it, right? He hits me up. Same thing. Woke up in the morning and this is the address. This is who you send it to. This is the size. Send this many of them. All right, cool. So I go get it printed and I'm starting to tease it on Twitter a little bit. Like, oh, this is what it kind of looks like. I'm not showing the full shirt. People are like, oh, who's wearing it next? Like, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
Is it Terrence again? Is it blah, blah, blah? And, man, that was crazy. Like,
and that was the To Live and Die in LA shirt.
Yeah. That was insane, right? That like, he got it. I had no idea he was going to wear it. I got no notifications, no nothing. My friend was at a barbershop getting his haircut, and I was at work. He's doing the walkway in the tunnel, ESPN, and he's wearing it on ESPN, and I'm getting, my phone is blowing up. All my homies are hitting me, and they're like, dude, like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I go immediately to DMPG, and I'm like, yo, bro, thank you. No answer. Right? Like,
yeah,
you don't give a fuck. Like, yeah. And obviously I'm hitting my connect and I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate it. Like, blah, 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 and he just hits me back and he's like, bro, like, you're from the Valley and we are too. So type shit like that.
Okay.
And I was like, cool. Shirt blew up. Yeah. I mean, I dropped the website that day. I put it on the website that day. Oh my God. Like, my phone was going nuts. And, we lost the game, but what a moment. Yeah. I mean, it's serious. And I'm happy that shirt. This is what I always go back to. Like, I'm super happy that shirt kind of stands the test of time in that time.
Yeah.
It connects to their first Western Conference Finals. And that to me is special too. Like, that to me really kind of like, after all the heartbreak and stuff, I was at that Houston game where Josh Smith went crazy.
Corey Brewer.
Bro, I was there, Harden on the bench, and we're just getting clipped.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, insane. Josh Smith, of all people, going nuts. Step back threes, too. Like, besides the point.
And then we just had to go ahead and give him a deal, too.
Dude.
But that's for another time.
That's Rock Divers. Yeah. We're not having a Rock Divers conversation right now.
Yeah, like, I'm just happy that shirt is with that time. Yeah. I watched the game at home. What a moment, man. Yeah.
And that was kind of like the real blow up for you,
right? That was the real blow up.
Now you've got all kinds of players wearing your stuff. And kind of teasing a little bit here.
Yeah.
You're working with teams now.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
So I've done some freelance work for some teams. Shout out the Nets. Shout out the Magic. I did something for the Lakers back in last October. It didn't come to fruition. There was like a couple of details didn't work out, but did something for them. And hopefully this year or, this season, we got the Clippers thing coming down. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and you've also been working on like custom pieces I've seen for guys. Like, I know you're wearing the one that I think you did for Javonte Green.
Yeah, I did this
right?
for Javonte Green. I actually like have tons of designs stacked already. I'm probably like good till like next summer.
Yeah,
wow.
Pretty much. I'm pretty much logged in already. But as far as this Bulls stuff, I just I make the shirt and I go, yo, who wants it?
Yeah.
I go hit up people and go, now I have obviously my connections a little different. But I mean, some people say yes, some people say no. I still get no's.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It is what it is.
But with some of those teams you're mentioning, and I don't know if you can speak to this. Does this mean that we're going to see Jake Barnes shirts in like fan shops at some of these arenas?
Yes.
Wow. That's very cool.
It's very good to hear because a lot of these teams have trash designs.
Dude.
And it starts with the jerseys that are already leaking.
Shout out the Nets. They were like the first people to really put down the action on it.
They for a long time have had incredible design.
They're
work,
the
though.
best.
Yeah.
I've always said
Yeah.
they were the best. Like they really play to their city.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about, they go Bed-Stuy and they do like throwbacks to the New Jersey, bro. They kill it.
One of my biggest regrets, the first time I ever went to a game at Barclays in Brooklyn, I go to the fan shop. Buddy of mine wanted a shirt. I can't remember what it was, but I grabbed that for him, and they had a t-shirt on the rack.
Yeah.
And it was a black and white picture of, your Brooklyn brownstone stoop with a old school like boom box on it.
Fire.
And the tape from the cassette is coming out of the box and it says Brooklyn Nets. And
So
it was
fire.
the sickest shirt I've seen in a team store. And I like loved it, but I was like, no, it's all good. I don't need to get this. And I think about that shirt all the time. And I'm like, I should have bought that shirt. That shirt, I've never seen it again.
They kill it.
Yeah.
Like, they kill it. I don't even think they needed my help. They just kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
But I mean, but that's the thing is like they've already set that standard for themselves.
Yeah.
And then they see somebody else who is kind of riding the same wave. So it only makes sense that like we're killing it, but like you can always do more. Like, there's always something else that you can do. So it makes sense that they saw your work and they were like, this is a perfect marriage.
Dude, I'm blessed and happy and excited and just humbled by the fact that like these teams over here are like willing to give a shot, to someone out of the blue.
I mean, it makes sense because you're coming from the authentic fan perspective, right? Like you don't have this idea of what sells or what doesn't sell. You just know what you think is sick,
right?
And you're actually bringing that to it. And I think that these teams are starting to see, even with the way that they've started doing jerseys, even in the last few years, like bringing it back to the things that the fans love, the eras that people love. Like people love that shit. Like we all love the nostalgia or the things that made us fall in love with the teams in the first place. Like I'm really excited about. I think they're bringing back the purple jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I love those.
That's supposedly supposed to be like their main stuff.
I'm all about that. That look is so good to me. I love that it's not, I mean, I like some of the minimal jerseys, but I love that jersey because it's so loud and flashy.
It speaks
to them
yeah,
for whatever. It's funny because it's Utah. You wouldn't think a flashy thing, but
no,
it
but
works
like
for them.
Denver needs to bring back like the Dikembe jersey.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Well, I think they like their new like city is gonna have that like color palette and
That's
stuff
sick.
like that.
Yeah, those were the best.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, like I'm super excited. Just teams that are are out there and they're willing to give shots to people, whether it be me or whoever. It's dope.
For sure. 3. We're taking way too much of your time, but I got to ask you this.
Yeah.
Give me like 3 or 4 of your favorite old jerseys, 90s, 2000s throwbacks, and then give me 3 or 4 of your favorite current newer jerseys.
Old jerseys. I'm going to go obviously Sacramento Kings, black with the purple and white pinstripe. I mean, not pinstripe, like trimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really like Houston kind of brought it back, but I really like that Yao Ming like blue pinstripe with like the rocket logo on it.
Yeah,
it's still Olajuwon era. I got to step in here. My favorite player of all time. They had those with Olajuwon at the end. That was like the Charles Barkley.
Yeah, the Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Super dope. Yeah. This is like a slept on one, but the Bucks like purple.
Ooh, the Ray Allen Bucks.
It's different. It's
with
different.
the actual deer on it.
Yeah. It's different.
Dude.
It's super different, and
love those.
You don't see it now. And let me see. I really do like. I mean, as simple as it is, I really do like Brooklyn's jersey.
Yeah,
because it just speaks to them. I like jerseys that speak to the teams. Like the Lakers speaks to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's iconic.
When you see it, it's Lakers.
Yeah.
The Bulls, they'll never change that.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, you
can't.
It
speaks to them,
I do wish the Bulls would bring back the black pinstripe.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude.
The Rodmans.
Dude, yeah.
The Scottie Pippen black
fire
pinstripe jersey with the shorts is just, that's one of my favorite. That one and the Magic black pinstripe 90s.
With the blue.
Fire.
Yeah.
God, dude.
So sick.
Let me take it back. I actually said one now.
Yeah.
Let me get one more previous one. You know what? I want to say Vancouver Grizzlies.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm kind of like, I really like the Miami Heat. They have like an older jersey. It's kind of like a flame red. I don't know how to explain it. Almost like a infrared, with like black and white piping, and it says Heat, I think, in white and black piping.
Oh yeah.
You know the Tim Hardaway's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are sick.
Yeah.
Those are really sick. And modern ones, you like Brooklyn? Anybody else?
Brooklyn. This is unpopular, but I really like the Clippers, Mr. Cartoon stuff.
I love it. I love it.
Like, shit. Like, if you want to talk about Raiders of the NBA, like, that's what I get out of it. Like, it just fits like for what the Lakers have to their identity, the Clippers have this to their identity. For what any team would have to their identity. I love their Mr. Cartoon jerseys.
The problem with the Clippers, which we could do a whole thing about this, is that I just want them to stick to something, because
Me too.
I really liked, for instance, like I love the Mr. Cartoon ones. I was like, go all black and white. I don't care. I actually think that's sick.
Yeah.
But then it would be like, okay, we have this black and white thing, and then they release, like say the ones last year with the light blue and the orange, but the court doesn't match. They just don't go all in on whatever that thing is. Like if they had dropped those blue and orange and a blue and orange court at the same time, would have been insane. But they have this like weird mismatch of like, oh, we have this boxy logo, but we also have some throwback cursive stuff. We have red and white, but we also have black. It's like
they can't commit.
Just pick a lane.
Supposedly they had a court planned out for last year, and the Staples Center didn't let them store it.
So I think part of that could be that the new arena, with their ability to do what they want in there, will be able to have some new stuff.
I have a sneaking feeling that there's going to be a slight rebrand, not like name, but like logo and stuff like that when the new arena opens, and that's what they're going to stick with, because their, post Sterling rebrand was awful. I hate the new logo. I'll be honest. I hate it. And I have a feeling that they're just kind of treading water until they are like, okay, we are now officially on our own.
I feel you.
And this is us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to let you get out of here. Do you have anything else that you wanted to?
No, I think we just want to, what's coming up with Jake Barnes stuff coming up. I know you have stuff in the works, so plug it all and let us know.
We have another baseball drop next month. We're doing Angels, Dodgers, Yankees, Padres, hopefully. Football after that. And then I have a Clipper specific drop for Media Day. So I'm letting people know now, I guess. That was the date that's planned for it. It kind of just hit, but that's the day planned for it, Media Day. And then NBA after that comes maybe like 3 weeks after that. And then World Cup, Black Friday. And then we're done for the year. So we're pretty much stacked for the whole year.
Okay. Yeah. And where can everybody go find these drops?
JakeBarnes.com, JKABRNS.com.
Got it.
At Jake Barnes, JKABRNS on Instagram, Twitter. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Man, Jake, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Hell yeah, dude.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's
that
sick.
Is going to be today's episode. All the links to Jake's work is going to be down in the episode description.
Yes,
so click that, go get his stuff. Incredible work. We really appreciate it. We will be back next week with another guest coming in the studio. So we got another guest coming in next week. Thank you all for joining us. Remember to hit subscribe, rate, review, all of that good stuff. The song that we are leaving you with today is a song called Innocence by a band, Adult Books, from here in LA. Fun, kind of like post-punk, kind of that like late 70s, 80s British punk almost kind of feel to it. Really good stuff. One of my favorite things to listen to in the summertime. This is off their 2021 Grecian Urn LP on Taxi Ghost Records. Remember to be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. See you soon.
Thanks.